How you doing? This is Chef Nicholas Armstrong from Siro's Restaurant, 885 2nd Avenue in Manhattan, and this is oven-cooked venison. All right, the first thing we're going to do is start out with this dish. We're going to roast a potato. I'm going to cut it on the bias. I'm going to make what's called a Hasselbeck potato, made by putting small slices right down the potato. This is really impressive, but it's easy to do at home. Add some height to the plate, a little dexterity. Very simple to do. Just watch yourself with your knife. Now that I've made my incisions, I'm going to go ahead, grab some aluminum foil, coat the potato in oil, some salt, some pepper. I'm going to close it up, and we're just going to pop it in the oven at about 450. It should take about anywhere from 35 to 45 minutes. All right, the next thing that we're going to go ahead and worry about is our white asparagus. Just a little bit of oil, some salt, pinch of pepper, and we're going to pop that in the oven to roast off as well. All right, we're going to go ahead and turn our attention to our venison loin. I've already trimmed the sinew and silver skin. I've wrapped it up just to keep it nicely shaped when we cook it. I'm going to go ahead and kind of make what's known as a turnidos. We're going to want to cook these with the grain nice and oiled up. The salt and pepper can adhere to it. I like to be generous with it and move it around in that oil. I'm going to come in to our nice hot pan. I got a blue steel pan here. It gives it a nice even heat throughout for searing. All right, now that we're smoking, I'm going to come in. Let's kind of press our filet right in there. Get a nice sear on both sides. So the reason why we're cut it in half and we're cooking them on the ends like this is because that's the way the grain actually runs. If you cut it against the grain and try to eat it, it's going to make it a lot tougher, and venison's already kind of tough if you mistreat it, so we just really want to be careful of doing that. Okay, now that these have gotten a nice sear on them, I'm going to cut the heat. I'm going to add in a generous amount of butter here. Just going to kind of swirl it around with that butter. It's browning up for us. I'm going to baste and give it a nice buttery flavor to the meat. It's also going to help in the cooking process, keep it nice and tender. We're going to go ahead and pop this in our 450 degree oven for about 4 or 5 minutes. All right, now we're out of the oven with our tenderloin. I'm going to go ahead and just slice off our butcher's twine. We're going to want to let this meat rest out for a little bit. By resting, I mean you just want to give it some time to allow the coagulated juices to redistribute to the meat. So in the meantime, we're going to start our plating. First thing I'm going to do is, now that I have my potato, I'm just going to set that nice and rustically on the plate. I do have some baby radish. This is kind of a cool feature. You know, it holds different vegetables, things of that nature in between its layers. Adds a nice depth to the meal. The next thing I'm going to do is I went ahead and made a mushroom demi. I'm going to put a nice pool right on the bottom here. I'll just spread that out. Go ahead and slice each of the tenderloins on the bias. I'll layer these guys in here together. Now we've got our white asparagus. Just going to go ahead and give these guys a slice on the bias. Just kind of put these guys in anywhere just to give it that nice pop. Get a little height for your presentation. I've also got some mushrooms that I've sauteed off. They've been marinated mushrooms. Which are nice for the plate. So remember that butter that we let brown up when we basted this? I'm just going to go ahead, and I like to have some of it right over my potato. All those ridges catch that brown butter. I'm just going to finish this off with a little bit of microgreens, and this dish looks good enough to eat. This has been Executive Chef Nicholas Armstrong from Siro's Restaurant, 885 2nd Avenue in Manhattan, and this is oven-cooked venison meat. And remember, folks, cooking is all about the flavor.